All right, what's going on, guys? So I have not had too much time to fish. This is my first free weekend in about 5 weeks, 5 weekends. I think I worked the last 5 weekends and I'm working the next several weekends. So I don't have a whole lot of time to fish, but we just had to get out here. We are up in like south central Florida, just north of West Palm Beach in this sort of wildlife management area, I would say. And on Google Maps, it looks like there's actually more than some watery areas. It's more like a swampy wetland type area, but there's just not a lot of access to get to those areas. It's very thick vegetation and also very muddy, so it's kind of tough to walk through to get to those places. But I think I found one spot we can start at today. We'll see what we can catch here, and then we'll probably explore around here, hit up a couple more spots as the day progresses. I would love a swamp darter, maybe like a least killifish. I don't know if we're north enough to get some of the rarer top minnows, like a lined top minnow, but I would like some of that. Really, I just don't want only eastern mosquito fish, which I think we're gonna get a lot of today. But we'll give it a shot and we'll see what we can catch. All right, so here's our first spot. It looks like it's a very swampy wetland area, a little bit out there. There's some deeper water with some lily pads, and it comes here to this little creek that ends up being, I think culvert is the right word for it. There's some fish down there. I think those are going to be eastern mosquito fish, but there are a couple slightly bigger fish, which I think are too big to be eastern mosquito fish. But let's get this little Tanago hook down there with a little bit of redworm, and let's see what we can get here. Got a little guy. Let's take a look at our first fish of the day. All right, no photo tank because this guy is rather boring, but as expected, this is a little juvenile eastern mosquito fish. There's a lot of them down there. That guy's back. Let's see if we can pull up something else from there. There are some bigger ones down there. I don't know if they're just adult eastern mosquito fish or if there's something else, but let's see if we can find out. Got him. Let's take a look at this little guy. All right, so second little eastern mosquito fish on camera. I actually caught several more of these off camera now. I'm pretty sure those bigger fish that I was seeing down there are actually sailfin mollies. Now that I got a little bit closer to the water, I got a better look at them. And plus, they are completely uninterested in the worm. All the mosquito fish swarm this thing as soon as it hits the water. But those bigger guys, I think the sailfin mollies, they want nothing to do with it. So I'll mess around with those guys for a little bit longer. Then I think we're going to move on, try to find a more promising spot. Alrighty, so here we are in spot number 2. I am basically standing in mud right now. You can just see there's not much water here, but this is the perfect kind of environment for what we're looking for. Swamp darter should be in here, least killifish, some little small top minnows, maybe some pygmy sunfish would be amazing. I can see a little bit of commotion here right in front of me. Oh, there's a fish. But these guys are small. Even this little bit of red worm and this little hook is too big for them. They're biting it, but they're just not getting in their mouths. I might have to cut even a smaller piece off so these guys can actually get into their mouths. Got him. What is this little thing? All right, so we got ourselves another little eastern mosquito fish. I'm pretty sure I saw at least one sort of top minnow in there. Just looked different than a lot of these smaller mosquito fish. But let's get this guy back. Let's see what else is down there, because there's some life down in this little bit of water. What is this thing? Another one. Alright, so these little guys, they're at least killifish sized, but that's just another eastern mosquito fish. I'll mess around here a little bit, and then I think we're gonna move on, try to find a third spot to fish. Alright, so here is spot number 3. It's another little ditch, close quarters over here. It's dark down there, I can't see any fish, but I think I just saw my bait disappear for a second. There's got to be something down there. Let's see what we can pick up out of this spot. Oop, got one. What is this little thing? Alright, so I was saving the photo tank for something cooler, but I'm really losing hope that we're going to catch something cooler. So let's take a look at this little eastern mosquito fish. I know there's other species in here. It's just these guys are always so much more abundant and definitely so much more aggressive than all the other stuff that I'm looking for. But I don't know. Let's get this tiny little guy back and let's keep fishing. Got him. All right, we got ourselves another eastern mosquito fish. So if you're a fan of eastern mosquito fish, this was definitely the episode for you. I guess you could technically call this spot number 4. I took a little hike into the swamp here, and I found some deeper water with lily pads, which I have not seen in this area before. But so far, all we got to show for it is another eastern mosquito fish. Oh, what is this? This is something different. Finally, yes. All right, so our first non-eastern mosquito fish of the day. It's not necessarily an exciting micro. These are super common in Florida as well, but this is going to be a little golden top minnow. This one's got, the colors on this one aren't all that interesting. You could barely see the gold speckles on them. Actually, it's probably a her. But if it's not an eastern mosquito fish, it is a great little catch. So I did see a lot of these mosquito fish on the surface, but now that there's deeper water here, I kind of tried to drop my bait down to the bottom as quick as possible, get it through that layer of eastern mosquito fish. And once it got toward the bottom, actually I felt this one hit, which is crazy because it is a tiny little micro, but I did feel the bite, set the hook, and we got ourselves our first non-eastern mosquito fish of the day. So I will take that as a victory. All right, let's get him back. Let's keep going, even though I doubt we're gonna get anything cooler than this guy. Got him. What is this? Another golden? Yeah, prettier golden. Let's take a look at this guy because this one looks really pretty. All right, so as soon as this guy stops going crazy and you can see him better, you'll really appreciate the colors, especially compared to the last one. So I believe this one's going to be a male. The gold spots are even more, I guess, orangish and reddish in color. Looks almost like the northern or the southern studfish, which I think is in the same genus as this guy, if I'm not mistaken. But those guys get a lot bigger, and they're not found here. But anyway, looks like we found something other than those eastern mosquito fish. Now we got two of these golden top minnows back to back, and it is certainly an upgrade from those mosquito fish. Really pretty little guy. All right, let's get him back, and I don't know what we're gonna do next, but for now, let's get a pic of this guy, and let's move on. Ooh, what is this? Oh, this is something different. Hold on. What? What is this thing? All right, so this is actually a really cool catch. It's golden top minnow shaped, and that's what I thought it was, but didn't have any of the golden spots, which I was expecting. And it's also got that little dot on the back of the dorsal. So I am fairly certain this is going to be a marsh killifish. I'm going to have to double check that. It's only my second ever marsh killifish that I've caught. And it kind of makes sense that they're here because this is a very marshy area. But I always thought these guys were more coastal. They were in like the salt marshes, not this like pure freshwater marsh. So that is very, very interesting. But I'm pretty sure that's what this is going to be. So this is honestly a really, really cool catch. Not a new species if it's a marsh killifish. Like I said, I've caught one of those before, but this is certainly completely unexpected. So this is really cool. What is this little guy? Oh, this is awesome. Another new species for the day. Oh, this is awesome. All right, take a look at this awesome guy. So this is going to be a Florida flagfish. Now, I caught one of these before, so it is on my life list. Now, this is the first one I am that I am 100% sure I hooked in the mouth. The one that's on my life list, I counted it because I was kind of sight fishing like this. I dropped my worm down, I saw a bite, then I flipped it up, and the flagfish kind of flipped with the worm, but then fell off immediately. So I'm not sure if that guy was ever hooked, but that guy definitely bit the worm. So that's why I counted that for my life list, because I don't know if it was hooked, but it definitely bit, and I definitely caught it on the hook, even though I'm not sure it was hooked. Anyway, that's a little rant for maybe a different time. But this one is definitely hooked in the mouth. It's such a cool little fish. These guys don't always take redworms or any sort of bait like that. So it is a really cool catch. Like I said, only my second ever. I thought those golden top minnows were cool, but between that marsh killifish thing and this Florida flagfish, this spot here is producing really, really well. We gotta work through a lot of mosquito fish to catch these guys, but it is well worth it. Got him. What is this? I think this is another marsh killifish. Is it? I think so. Yeah, so before today, I only ever caught one marsh killifish, and now I think we just caught two in the last 10 minutes. For a second, I thought this was going to be a line top minnow, but the lines aren't that pronounced, and I don't think line top minnows have that little dot there on the back of the dorsal. Plus, I think this one's shaped a little bit differently, but that's still a really cool catch. We still got to work through all these mosquito fish, but this spot is producing some really cool species, and I'm really curious what else is down there that I'm not catching. But let's get this guy back. Got him. Looks like marsh killifish number 3. Alright, so marsh killifish number 3. These guys have this really cool like tiger stripe pattern on them. But the sun is either just set or it's going to set within the next couple minutes. And I got a fairly decent drive back down to South Florida. So let's get this guy back. And even though we got no new species, I'm very happy with the way the day went. So let's go ahead and let's wrap it on up. Okay, this is something else. This is something else. Of course, after I said let's wrap it up, I made another drop. This is something else. Alright, so you guys should know by now, whenever I say last cast or let's wrap it up, I always make another couple casts. And this is an interesting one. It might very well be a marsh killifish, or like those killifish that we caught a couple of earlier. But I don't think it is. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that this is going to be a Gulf killifish. The barring is different than on the several marsh killifish that we caught earlier. It's got these very small speckles here on the back, little gold speckles, but not gold like the golden top minnow. And it's got this very faint black here on the back of the dorsal, but not as pronounced as on those what I think were marsh killifish that we caught several of earlier. Very similar to the mummichugs we catch up in New Jersey, but I'm pretty sure their range stops at about Jacksonville, so anywhere south of Jacksonville it should be Gulf killifish. And again, I always thought these were more of a coastal species, and we are fairly far inland. This is going to be pure freshwater. So I don't know if it's going to be a Gulf killifish, but that's going to be my guess. And I've never caught a Gulf killifish before. So if that is what it is, this is going to be a new species for the life list. I don't know. Alright, let's get a pic of this guy. Now, for sure, let's wrap it up. Alright guys, so that's going to do it, and what a day. We fished several different spots, all in this general area, probably within, I'd say probably a 1 mile radius of where we are here, kind of in the middle of this wildlife management area. Almost all eastern mosquito fish, really all eastern mosquito fish in the first 3 spots. I did see what I think were some sailfin mollies in the first spot. Didn't get any of those to bite. In the second spot, that's the spot where I got some underwater footage that you guys saw, and I believe I just checked it real quick. The screen's small, so I couldn't really see too well, but I believe I saw 1 least killifish in there among maybe 5 to 10 eastern mosquito fish. All we got there were eastern mosquito fish, but it looks like if my underwater footage is correct and I was able to see it correct, there was at least 1 least killifish there that we couldn't get to bite, that we couldn't catch. Spot number 3, all eastern mosquito fish, and I was pretty sure all we were going to get were eastern mosquito fish. And then I kind of followed the little creek canal to the source up the whatever you call it, upstream to this little marshy area, and that marshy area was awesome. Tons and tons of eastern mosquito fish, just like in all the other spots. But once I got my bait past those down to the bottom, there were some really cool species down there. A couple golden top minnows, couple of what I believe are marsh killifish, and then I was going to leave, but I decided to make another drop, and on that final drop we got what I believe is a Gulf killifish. Still have to double check that, because I was pretty sure the marsh killifish and the Gulf killifish, they're more coastal, and we are, I don't even know, 20 miles inland or something like that from the coast. That's just kind of a rough estimate. So we are pretty far in here. This is all freshwater, and I thought those guys were going to be more of a coastal species, kind of in the salt marshes, not in these freshwater marshes here. But if that's what it is, if I got a Gulf killifish here, that's a new species for the life list. So outside of those eastern mosquito fish, it ended up being a really good day. So I hope you guys liked it, and I will see you next time.